Well, I think the key message is that Europe has got an incredible amount of potential, but the issue is that Europe has got to realise that potential. And the key headlines, I think, that came out of the report were speed matters. Asia's moving very quickly. Europe cannot afford to be slow. There's great opportunities, I think, if Europe leverages its strengths, particularly in export markets. And critically, that innovation is going to be right at the heart of everything that Europe does. But it's got to be able to capitalise on those strengths and exploit them not only within the single European market, but also on the international stage. Clearly, I think there are some important new trends, and I think one of the key messages is whether it's about ageing populations and the opportunity to provide services, particularly health services, travel and tourism services to that sort of population, whether it's looking at the new realities of the government sector and how you get more for less, or whether it's looking at the digital economy and taking advantage of particularly some new trends in things like mobile computing, cloud computing. I think these are new trends which Europe actually is well positioned to take hold of, as well as the low carbon economy. And the key question absolutely is execution. And so that's why the word potential becomes very important, because if Europe does not execute on some of these key trends over the course of the next 3 to 5 years, it is going to find itself further behind a rapidly growing Asia. There are a number of areas where I think Europe can make some significant progress over the next sort of 1, 2 and 3 years. For example, if you just look at small, medium-sized enterprise, 2/3 of all people in Europe actually work for small companies. And I think that some of the things that can be done very practically, very easily in terms of reducing bureaucracy and improving credit and financing for small companies will do an amazing amount and to help with employment prospects, which are going to be really critical in Europe. So small, medium-sized enterprise, I think there's a lot of opportunities to work at skills, and although skills can be both a long-term issue, if we do more short, sharp training, particularly around e-skills, I think that's going to be very important. We can do a lot to help women, particularly in terms of the ICT sector. Great opportunities to improve employment there. So there are some very practical things that can be done both at the European level and at the member state level, I think, to put Europe in a better position to take hold of some of the advantages going forward. The critical issue, I think, is obviously around the size of the public sector debt that we've got in different parts of Europe. And clearly what we're seeing at the moment, particularly from a business perspective, is trying to get the balance right between reducing the overall amounts of debt and at the same time not jeopardising recovery. And I think the great opportunity for the Belgian presidency is in their capacity is to be able to help, I think, Europe navigate that balance between moving, if you like, too quickly on debt reduction and at the same time stalling recovery. And that balancing act, I think, is going to be hugely important as Europe looks to sort of navigate through 210 into 211. The other critical thing, I think, which is very important, is that other growth markets are moving forward fast, particularly in Asia. And I think anything the Belgian presidency can do to encourage Europe to be really more engaged, particularly in Asia, I think will be very beneficial.